All right, everybody. So, we will get started today. Let's get with can you guys see the slideshow for that says CCN Curriculum Conversations?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, welcome guys. It's our April Curriculum Conversations meeting. It's been a good 25, 26 school year. This is our last curriculum conversations for this spring semester. So today we wanted to uh, celebrate, first of all the hard work that everybody has done in collaborating together to put together these resources and share with the network. So thank you everybody for all your contributions and your feedback. So I want to take a moment just to review some of the highlights that we have gone over this past year. And then at the end, we're going to talk about some AI activities and hopefully have some folks share some AI things that you guys are doing in your curriculum. So one of the biggest thing I think that we did this year was put together this course shell repository. So if you haven't already been there, please go to the member site and check out the course shells that we've put together with, they've got resources attached. We've added the outlines. We've got the CAE knowledge unit mapping for folks. We've got 10 of those courses out there for you guys that you can use. A lot of them are still Blackboard, but we're going to be making this transition over to Canvas, which will make sharing a lot easier. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to, as we transition from Blackboard to Canvas, that we will also export those shells and would love to see if you've already shared a course shell or haven't shared a course shell before, that that would be a goal of ours for the fall. Another one of our big accomplishments was going over these nice work roles, talking about career pathways and work roles, and just identifying, okay, what is the purpose of your program? What's the goal? Is it forensics? Is it cyber defense? And then identifying specifically what are some of those nice work roles that our students can identify as targets for what they're going out there to secure. And then, of course, last will be our AI activity. So just as a review, the 10 core courses that we have collected as a membership that have said, these are the 10 that we feel like every cybersecurity course should have. Today, I want to do some reflection on that. I would, because, everything is always evolving. And if we see something that we need to change, we need to add, we need to replace, today would be a great time to look at that now that you've had a chance to look at hopefully some of those program descriptions and courses and the materials and see if there's anything that we could do to improve that. So of course I have a survey for you guys at the end so you can put down your thoughts there, but also would love to hear what you guys have to say in the meeting. So I am going to pause here and see if anybody does have any feedback on these 10 core courses so far.
I have a question for clarification,
Yes.
and I was trying to find the curriculum standard because I could have probably answered it myself. But I remember conversations a while back with individuals about there were courses that were required that weren't necessarily appropriate and that we could do without. I don't know if that was you, but I've heard from other instructors that there were courses that we are required to have in our programs but don't really make sense for a cyber program. Is that still the case?
So when you say required, required by the institution, required
No, required by the system office.
a system office,
Yes.
the community college system office, that I don't remember discussing that.
It might
So
not
I'm
have
not
been you. And I wanted to say it was either CCT 112 or CTI 120 that came up for discussion that maybe. I don't know. I was just
Okay.
wondering if that was something you all had thought about it, or if you believe that all of these courses make sense.
So initially, these are the ones that folks had voted on as a
Okay,
membership. Yeah.
so they're
And
not
then,
the ones that are, okay, but they,
Part of them are the core in the standard.
yeah, CTI 120 is, it looks
Yes,
like,
it
Mhm.
is.
okay. Maybe it was
You're talking
another
about tech.
one, because there are two, there's CTS 115 and CTI 110. And the
Mhm.
reason I'm asking
Mhm.
is that these are the courses we've identified. This is a whole different issue. That
Okay.
is there something we should be advocating for with the
Mm,
system office that would help us? If
okay.
there are courses that are required that could be removed and would give us some wiggle room
Got
to
it.
add something else.
Okay.
Possibly, but we've just
Yeah.
gone through an ITAP alignment
Mm-hmm.
last year where we
Mhm.
removed a bunch of courses that weren't needed by all the colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And we did do some realignment, but the technical core stayed pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Right.
could also interject, the courses that can't be removed are normally the, oh goodness, it's on the tip of my tongue now. Humanities courses, psychology courses, the math courses, the core courses, those cannot be removed. But as
Right.
far as courses within each person or each school's program, you could take all of these classes and you have to have at least two that are required. So I could do for Psych Tech, we could do a combination of NOS 130 and Sec 110. That would be our requirements. Cleveland can do Net 125 and CTI 20, and that would be their two requirements. But for the most part, all 58 schools have autonomy on how they want to set up their courses. We just all, for our cybersecurity classes, we just all happen to have the same core classes in order to move forward with our certificates and our degree programs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Do
I
that.
understand the humanities, but what I'm looking at the curriculum standard right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And for all IT programs, the technical core
Mhm.
is 3 courses, and then you get to select one from a list. So
Correct. And
CTS
everybody,
115, CTI 110, and CTI 120, it looks like are required.
Correct.
Yes.
What
So
was the
my
first one that
question
you mentioned,
was,
Cynthia?
yeah, my question, CTS 115, CTI 110, and CTI 120.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my question to you all is what do you think about those core courses?
Mm. Okay.
I think they're
And
needed because it's not only for cyber courses, it's for networking programs, web. So those cores have to touch all the
Yeah.
different programs that we teach throughout the system. As
I
far as
understand, I
IT
understand
related.
that because they're all under the that's not what I'm asking though. I'm asking about for cybersecurity specifically. So don't think about any of the other IT programs.
Mm.
Just for cybersecurity, do these courses make sense?
Yes, they
Yes.
do, because CTS 115 is business concepts,
Okay,
and cybersecurity individuals need to understand how
Yep.
businesses run within IT. CTI
And
110 and CTI 120, that's needed as well, because again, if you're in cybersecurity, you probably need to know a little bit about programming, aka Python, which is the big one. You
exactly.
definitely need to
okay.
know about security and networking, which is IP addresses. And did you see? I don't think you said CIS 110, but if you did say CIS 110, you need to know how to write a report in Excel or in Microsoft Word. So yeah, those
Yeah,
are all
that's
required.
in the
Yeah.
selected. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because I remember a couple of years ago, people having this conversation and I thought, I haven't heard anything about it since.
Yeah.
And so, and I know that this was redone. But
Mhm.
there are an awful lot of programs under one curriculum standard.
Yes,
And,
there are.
so I thought it was worth looking at if it was something that we wanted to have a broader conversation about, but it sounds like not. So,
No, we've all gone through that. We've most of us in here, or some of us in here, have gone through ITEP twice. So
Yes,
no, we're good with
we're
what we
good.
have now. Otherwise, we would have changed it last year or year before
Okay.
last. Yeah.
okay, okay. That's it.
Okay.
Sorry to
Awesome.
take us down that rabbit hole.
Oh,
It's
no,
all
no,
good.
this is the place to do it. So
Yep.
thank you, Cynthia.
Yep.
Thank you.
We won't think worse of you.
Thank you. Well, and I'm not a tech person, so I have to ask these
Well,
questions
and
that
and
to
we
some
need
people
that
may seem,
perspective.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know what? You're in the club though, Cynthia.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
You're
you.
you're
An
in.
honorary member?
Yes, yes, you are. Um, I'll just make a comment. We actually are replacing CCT 250 at my school with SEC 185. Is anybody else using SEC 185? And that's the
It's ethical hacking.
thank you. So we would be using CEH for that class. Amy, you
Yeah, at
are?
Rowan Cabarrus, we just went through a curriculum change. We were using
Mhm.
CSC 111, which was more computer programming, but it was the only intro to ethical hacking in 2019. So
Mhm.
we used it. We just changed to SEC 185 ethical hacking.
Okay.
We also, because we don't teach cybercrime anymore, we also sunsetted that degree years ago.
Yep.
We changed our CCT 112 ethics to CTS 210, which is computer ethics. So, but we'll teach the
Okay.
same content. We wanted to get away from that prefix because that was the only one left.
Okay. Yeah, and I think Tony, doesn't Aaron use that one? CTS
Yes, our
210?
our information systems or our old tech support program uses the new computer ethics, and our
Mm-hmm.
cyber program still uses CCT 112.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. So I think either one of those would be great.
Mm-hmm.
So what's of these 10 core courses? Are one of these an ethics course?
The CCT 112. Mm-hmm.
CCT 112, okay.
Yep. And then the
Yep.
alternate to that is the
Oh,
CTS
yeah.
210.
Okay, thank you.
Other thoughts, changes, things that,
Yeah, at Wake Tech, I was just going to say at Wake Tech, we still use the 250,
Mhm.
251 for ethical courses. Just FYI. I think that's probably what you guys were doing before. Right?
yeah,
we
you
do
said
too. We do
250 and
221.
251.
Yes, that's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
do the same.
Okay. Yeah. See, we added in Sec 215 this coming up year. We will. And that's incident response. Am I saying that right, Tony?
That is correct.
Okay. Is
We got
anybody
rid
else
of we got
doing
rid
that?
of we got rid of forensics investigations and added in incident response.
Anybody else doing incident response? I remember one of the comments at the advisory board meeting at the convening, that was one of the topics that they brought up was incident response and like disaster recovery, business continuity, all those sorts of things. So,
I just made a note, Victoria, about, possible session for the convening.
oh yeah,
We were talking about courses that we could
okay.
do lessons from. Maybe this one should be one of those.
Mhm. Whatever Cynthia wants, we'll do.
Well, no, it's a suggestion.
Of course, of course. Other thoughts, comments about where we are right now? Well, in the survey at the end of the presentation, there'll be a place for you to, give any thoughts. If you think of something later that you want to share about, we think this should be there or that should be replaced. Or, if something's missing or maybe the next things that we work on. So, all right. All right. Well, we can always come back to that if you guys think of anything else. The next piece that I want to review was the work role versus career pathway. One of the goals of this committee was to help schools identify what the nice work roles were that we're identifying for each school, and then trying to start to hone in on a career pathway. So what does it look like? What are the certifications? What are the internships? What's the education needed, the skills and tools to go down that pathway for our students? So I want to just reiterate that we do need to gather that information from everybody, so that we can start to, again, work smarter as far as, the development of those career pathways. I see schools that have similar pathways working together to, identify what are those activities and kind of flesh that out and, come up with a game plan that other schools can follow. So really need your help to identify what your focus is for your program. And then inside of that, what are the nice work roles that you guys are targeting? So the nice work roles, again, was the 3 work roles that align with that, job pathway. So I think, okay. So yeah, if you remember, we demonstrated the work role categories. For example, for sci tech is protection and defense. And inside of that category is where we identified our 3 specific work roles. So protection and defense, or blue team, is the pathway that the career pathway that we're going to be helping develop. So has anybody already done some of that work and can share kind of where you are, or what questions you might have about how to figure it out?
Victoria, I was just going to mention that, Amy. So Victoria, we have not created a group for you on the member site yet, have we? Where you can add files.
No, I just have a
forms.
link out to my Google folder with the repository.
So this would be someplace where we could create the group and you could put this information up there. You could create
Okay.
a form where folks could go there and just submit that information, and it would be
Okay.
emailed directly to you.
Oh,
You
that's
can
fantastic.
also then send out, you can put announcements in there that you could
Okay.
have then emailed. You could choose to email them or not.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's
with
great.
that link, so it would all be in one place and you would have that database there
Perfect.
always
Perfect.
from that
Yes.
form. So let's talk about that
Okay.
another time. And we can get
Sounds
John
fantastic.
to create that for you.
And so, Amy, for today, you can submit that when you fill out the survey at the end of the meeting. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll at least start there. Site. Thank you so much for that, Cynthia. That would make it a lot easier to manage.
And actually, we have a weekly meeting with John on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
It might make sense for you just to come to that meeting. It's only a 15-minute meeting,
Okay.
but tell him what you would like it to look like, what you want to do with it, and he'll create it.
And that's
So
with Wednesdays, 4 o'clock with who?
John Jednak.
Okay. I don't know
I
that I've
will
met him.
forward the meeting invite for tomorrow.
I know I can't make it tomorrow. I'm in a meeting until 4:30.
Okay, next week.
The next week should be fine. I can't see my calendar at the moment, but it should be fine.
Okay, I won't be at that meeting, but I will
Okay.
let folks know that you're gonna be there
Okay, perfect.
and why.
Yes. All right. So that would be the 22nd.
22nd.
Okay. Yeah, that should be perfect. Okay. Great. Great, great, great. That's exciting. All right. Any other thoughts or questions or clarification for work roles and pathways?
Hey, I had something I wanted to see. I don't know if we can do this first phase, but then to eventually map the different organizations that may fall under like incident response or GRC and so forth. And then as far as the tie with the already mentorship program, to be able to align the student all the way according to their pathway. That way they would have potential organizations that they may gain internships with, and then they would also be mapped, of course, with the certifications and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've been starting and doing over at Wake Tech as well. But I like to see it at this level so we can get the best talent sometime for some of these roles across the state.
Absolutely. I think that would be the goal, would be to have all the information that a school could possibly use to give to the students to, go through that, whole process as easy as possible. So yeah, definitely. Great. Thank you for sharing. Any other thoughts on that?
Okay, one more thing. And so as far as to what we're doing now with the tier one work,
Okay.
this could be another opportunity too, where we can go ahead and do a full-on training as well of a mapping for the interest that the students may have to be able to build up their skill set in that area. And then perhaps those different organizations may be tier two level of organizations that when the students apply to that next role, to that next tier, to be able to be a tie-in if we got companies that have signed on to that level of partnership, if that makes sense as well.
Yeah. So are you saying in the tier one internship that part of what the students are doing is looking at and developing that career pathway for themselves?
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's say we have students that's interested in GRC. And so we would supplement and give them additional training as it relates into the GRC, CMMC space that they may be interested in at tier one, and help have that gap, because of some of these things, of course, we can't put it into our curricula, and then tier two, they should be ready to be able to work with our respective partners in that space. Okay.
Yeah, love it. Cynthia, is that something we can shoot back over to the internship team?
So I heard him talking about, we've already built in that the students are working on kind of a career pathway plan as part of that.
Good.
That's been built in. So what was the rest of it? Sorry, I was composing an email about Victoria's attending the meeting next week.
Well, maybe the process to be able to add on additional tier two organizations as options. I know we have like NCDIT, Department of Revenue, but then if these organizations have additional organizations that may be able to give those internships for GRC and those different pathways, have additional tie-in, and whether or not they may have been a mentor or not, or part of the mentorship program.
Right, yeah, and I know that the mentorship program, students are um put with mentors that align with their identified career pathways.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already doing that. And we are trying to diversify our tier 2 internships, but not too quickly. So it stays with our capacity to provide interns. And also, yes, trying to match those students with their career goals and the appropriate pathway. And I think identifying our programs is critical, because we might have students that are interested in GRC, but are in a program that doesn't have any GRC components.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
where do they go to get those? Maybe they could just pick up a few classes online from another school, but providing that information to students so that they have all of that at their fingertips and are able to quickly get the courses they need that align with their career goals. Because one thing we have learned is students enter a cyber program not understanding all the pathways within cyber and not realizing that the program that they're in may not align with their goals once they identify what those are down the road. So helping students more quickly adapt, this would be very important for doing that.
So it sounds like we need to collect the different types of activities that folks are doing for that career pathway, investigation. So I think that sounds like the next folder on our shared site is to collect those types of activities. So, like Sandelio, I know you've mentioned you've used Try Hack Me, no, right? No, hold on, Try Cyber.
Try try Cyber USA.
Yeah, yeah,
West, try Cyber US, I'm sorry.
yeah. So, what are
Use
some
that
of
and
the? Go
further.
ahead.
Oh yeah, and then there's and after they map that, then within the overall site itself, it has different roles that's there. And then organizations like CyberWatch, they have a program and have a grant program tied with Microsoft and ISACA, where they allow students to get a scholarship and then also get the training to be able to do some of the auditing certifications and things like that too. So, and to be able to have a way to disseminate that information to those students as well.
Mhm,
And literally, I'm on the road now heading to Winston-Salem because with the manufacturer sector group,
mhm,
to be
mhm,
able to start from opportunities for students in the manufacturing sector, eventually for cyber as well. Because we're constantly hearing, and we're going to hear more in the next few weeks, organizations that are laying off and there's not really job opportunities, but we need to tap into this untapped space that we could have that as well. So I'm looking at as far as where our respective groups, whether that's healthcare, manufacturing, the ones that we have, energy, to start aligning our students in that space too. And Cindy, that's where you saw, but because Eleanor Taylor came and talked to our Sentinel students. I mean, well, online she did, of course. And then a lot of them have already started taking those additional trainings as well. And I believe one of them is down at Fort Bragg this week as well for the training that was offered. And then we have some that work with FEMA that are starting to work with them as well too. So
mhm,
us building and having those relationships there, we could be able to find more job opportunities for the students and also to be doing things that's protecting the state and the nation in general.
mhm,
And
mhm.
this is
And I'll be
something, there are so many opportunities out there, like what Sandelio is talking about for students that they are not aware of.
Right.
And we need to start gathering that information and collecting it and putting it on our, we now have a section of our website devoted to students and opportunities for students.
Mhm,
And to make sure that we keep that up to date and share that with students, because yes, it's the courses that they take, but there are also so many other opportunities to help them prepare, and we need to start collecting
mhm,
that information. And oftentimes we find out about it too late. So
mhm,
for everyone on this call, if you hear about anything that is an opportunity for students that is that more specialized, like what Sandelio was talking about, please share it,
mhm,
because I didn't know anything about that opportunity, Sandelio, until Eleanor forwarded that and said that one of your students had taken advantage of that.
Mhm.
And by the time she forwarded it,
yes.
we couldn't get anybody in. They had closed registration on the stuff going on here at Fort Bragg.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
So career pathway exploration lesson plans,
And one of the
activities.
things
So,
we're doing with the
Mhm.
updated SOC internship, which is now called the Applied Cyber Operations internship, is to have required activities and then extra activities. So if students have identified through that process of developing their career plans, that they're more interested in something that there may not be enough of, they can look to the extra resources and do some additional activities on that. So trying to help them, give them more activities information on those pathways as well.
Mhm. So would it be
Absolutely.
okay to share the career pathway exploration that they do in that tier 1 internship? Because
I will
I think it's
find out, yes.
valuable, and we only have 6, like, SciTech has 6 slots, so that would be
I think there's something built into the pre-internship program.
okay.
I will find out.
Okay,
Because that may be where we put it initially, and then when they
That-
get into the tier 1,
okay,
that's when they start working in more detail about putting together resumes, thinking about networking, mock interviews, those sorts of things. So now that I
Is-
think about it, I think it is in the pre-internship program, which makes more sense. If it's
That
not, it should
is-
be.
great. When is that kicking off?
I had talked to the folks doing that, asked them to have it for summer.
Okay,
So we have a meeting tomorrow. I'll find out where we are on that, because it's a great
Perfect.
opportunity for students to
Mhm.
do this during the summer in
Mhm.
anticipation of then doing one of the other internships in the fall.
Great. Very excited. And that one's just virtual only.
Self-paced, yep.
Yep. So will something, I guess, come out, like there'll be an announcement about that?
Yes, I'm hoping that we can do that this week.
Okay.
I'll find out the details tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah. So exciting. Okay. Yeah, that would really help give everybody the same footing, So. Other thoughts on that?
Just to add on to that, the cyber safe and applied cyber operations internships, the application period ends April 24th.
Yeah.
So it's coming up soon.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, we're not at the end yet. AI. If you guys are okay to transition to AI, I wanted to have folks share anything that they're doing with AI. It could be cyber AI, it could be just AI in general. One of the ways that we're trying to incorporate AI instead of just having another course, because all of our courses are so full, is just to kind of weave it into our classes and our lessons. So I would love to, I think Tony has one thing to share, but if nobody else wants to go first, I can let him share what he's doing with AI. Tony, if you're ready, or if anybody else wants to talk about what they're doing first, that's fine.
All right.
I'll go ahead.
I'll go ahead and start
Okay.
sharing my
Okay,
screen.
let me unshare mine.
Okay. All right. So I just did a workshop here for SciTech It was comprised of using AI in your classrooms. I think the name of it was creating an AI agent with Microsoft Copilot to answer student questions in Blackboard. Um, and to start out, what I did was I used Copilot to create a 8 weeks of announcements because we're required to have at least one announcement a week. And instead of us having to go, or excuse me, instead of me having to go in every week and try to remember to put in the announcements every Monday, in Blackboard, there's an announcement setting where you can put in the announcements and you can schedule it every week. So what I did was I take my syllabus, which is fully complete, including the assignments that are due at the end of the syllabus, or at the very bottom of the syllabus. I run it through Copilot, and I come up with my 8 weeks of assignments. So for example, get this out of the way. Get out of here. 121. So for example, for this course, I created one for, is that it? Right there, 121 course. So the prompt I put in is I have a 121 course. I need 8 weeks of announcements. Can you create a list for me attached as a syllabus without, and what I like to do is I like to tell AI, don't put in any wingdings or any icons. Because if you've ever used AI before, sometimes they put in those different icons and you can pretty much tell us AI. I don't like seeing that, so I take that out. So I put that in with my completed syllabus, and it has everything set up for every week. All I simply do is copy the announcements and I paste it. Now, if there's any additional items for those particular weeks, I can put that in as well. But for the most part, just in case I forget to post an announcement, they're in there for every week. So I put that in, got my syllabus attached right here, and this will be the result of it, week one announcements. And again, this just goes through a basic overview of what you should be expecting for that particular week. So week 2, week 3, all the way to week 8. So again, I don't have to spend 20 minutes to an hour trying to figure out how to write a announcement every single week. At least I've got a base here and I can always add on to it. And if we have any big things like, hey, you need to sign up for CCN's scholarship, I think it's a new name now. I would put that in that week's assignment. Or excuse me, I would put that in that week's announcement. You need to contact me. You need to contact Miss Ferrell, someone else, in order to get more information so you can apply to that because the deadline is such and such a day. So that's the first part that I did. And the second part is creating an agent with your, to use, excuse me, creating an agent to use with your class. Here we go. So, and I'll put this PowerPoint presentation in the K-12 resources whenever we can get that Google Drive folder back up under the members area. But this pretty much went through how you create an agent to help you with answering some of the frequently asked questions in your class. So again, with this, I had different steps and whatnot. So step 1, gather all your documents, your syllabi, any PDFs that you may use for class, any lesson plans. If you have cheat sheets for quizzes or tests, go ahead and you can post everything there. Then you post everything to your OneDrive. For us, you have to post it to your OneDrive because if you don't use OneDrive through Forsyth Tech, Copilot won't allow you to upload anything. It has to be from there. If your school has your settings a little different, it may work a little differently, but that's how we have to do it here. So then you start on a new agent. It should look something like that. You've got your work area and your preview area. This is where you put in all your information, like your overview, what this is for, so on and so forth. Then you can add in your name and description, the instructions, click on describe, and you can actually describe that agent, which is how you describe your course. Then again, you can add in any content you want. I've got, for most of my classes, I use access keys through like EC Council or CompTIA. And sometimes these students get those access keys wrong, or sometimes the bookstore gives them the wrong access key and they've been used already. So I've got a prompt in here where if they type in, hey, my access key isn't working, it'll automatically tell them, hey, contact Mr. Brown to get this resolved. Once I get that email, I can go to the bookstore and they can get it swapped out pretty quickly. I also require Ask Me Anythings every week. and most students don't fill that out. And I think that's about 5 to 10% of their grade, depending on what the class is. So this says, hey, if you type in our AMA is required, this is going to tell you, yes, it is required. And it's an automatic, it's automatic 5 to 10 points off if you don't complete it. I also have my class, excuse me, I also have my grade set. It's a running total. So everybody starts out with a 0, which looks like an F. And it doesn't start pulling up those grades till about the 6th, or between the 6th and the 7th week. So they'll see F's all throughout until they hit that 60% mark. Then it goes up to D to C or to B and then to A if they keep going. But I've got a bunch of students that have asked that question too. Why is my overall grade an F and I'm in week 4 if I've turned in everything? This automatically tells them, hey, it's a running score. There's nothing wrong. Just keep turning in your assignments and the grade will start to pull up between week 6 and week 7. So I've got those instructions there. This tells you how to do everything. And once you go on a Blackboard, or you can use Canvas or Moodle, whatever you're using, you have to take a link to Copilot and stick it inside of your Blackboard. Once they click on that, they go back to your Copilot agent, and then they can interact with it with the preview area here on the right-hand side. They won't see the work area. They'll just see the preview area or the actual agent area so they can start interacting with it. So that's what it did. Also on this PowerPoint, I've got links for our documents, and then I had any questions at the end. So that's how I'm using AI for my classes. I've got one more thing quickly. In my emerging technologies classes, I had students going through decision-making structures, had them using LinkedIn and also creating resumes. And I had them to use AI to help them as a sidekick to help answer some of these situational questions or to help build a proper LinkedIn description of their profile, and also to help them build a proper objective for their resumes, and also some other things, some little small things, but for the most part, that's what they use. Again, they couldn't copy and paste from AI. They had to put it in their own words, but at least used AI as a sidekick to help speed up some of their work so they can concentrate on some other things as well. So that's how I used AI.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we're also going to post this in our AI folder in the course shell repository section as well.
Sounds good.
So,
All right.
great. Thank you. Sandelio, did you have? Yeah.
Well, first thing I want to say, make sure y'all do everything Tony tell y'all to do. I've been listening to Tony for like the last years. Like if it's anybody or whatever, I owe like a portion of my salary and everything like that too, and success to. That's Tony and Victoria. I mean, like really, that's amazing. I actually was looking. Well, for one of the things I do in my courses, when we have a certification that do not, because I was a big fan of, and I'm a big fan of Pocket Prep. Our students now are able to, well, my Sentinel students been able to create their own Pocket Prep for certifications that Pocket Prep don't support. But in general, it also allows to be able to augment their different trainings and be able to present the information for how they need, to be able to utilize tools like Notebook LM to be able to put PowerPoints or to put together a podcast, depending on the format that they most work with, especially since a lot of our community college students are also working as well. Many of them may find it easy to maybe have that playing in their headphones while they're at work, different lecture material and things of this too, to be able to get the same level of immersion. The next thing from the workforce space, I'm actually just leaving a AI panel with BOMA, and it's one of the business organizations that do a lot of real estate development in the Research Triangle area. And a lot of what we're working on now is to try to have eventually internships where our students can help them set up their own small language model on site to be able to keep their proprietary information in-house and being able to expose them into AI, and to be able to perhaps be eventually hired on as their resident AI, engineer, if you will. And some of the things we're working on as well too. So that's being able to see some other different use case scenarios, because one of the things about it being so relatively new, there's not a lot of tenure experts and things like that in that space. And it could be another space where our students can be able to find employment as well. And that's all. Mhm.
Awesome. So you're going to share all of those wonderful notes with me too, right, Sandelia?
Oh, absolutely. Overshare. That's what I do. I overshare. Ain't that right, Cynthia?
We'll take it, all of it. Thank you so much.
It's always a lot of information, Sandelia.
It's so good.
No, I keep being wrapped up into different things or whatever and stuff like that, but it's been a blessing. Hey, Victoria, were you at the end of the competition on Saturday? Did you
Yes,
stay to the?
I
Okay.
did.
So what?
Yeah.
Because my student said because they wanted it to be a team that I guess they allowed Duke to get the championship even though we won.
So there was you guys had the top performing student, correct? As an individual?
Uh-huh.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's
It's
they
what
very
had
I,
71
confusing the way it's been
70.
presented publicly. I've been following it on LinkedIn,
uh-huh.
and if it was half as confusing in person,
Okay.
it sounds like some work needs to be done there.
Yeah, I believe um I took notes. I thought they said that one of your students was the top individual scorer for the competition. And then, but the first place team was Duke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I could
yeah.
live with that because I know there was only two of our students that had participated, but it
Okay.
was a way that they signed up or something like that to that effect. And since we were like kind of last minute, and Tony Brown, again, this is another thing that Tony member used to tell me to get involved in competitions, right? So
Uh-huh.
we're still new, you know what I mean? So the fact that even for us to place, because I think we're as teams we were like third place around the time that I left and headed back to Raleigh. But even
Mhm.
for us to place is amazing over a short period of time. But as far as but yeah, that's where I was confused as far as what was going on with that. And I think that my students said that they wanted to represent it as a team. The reason why that portion went to Duke and things like that as well. But the fact that Wake Tech competing with Duke anyway is already, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
speaks volumes. So I'm
Did,
appreciative
did
of
they
that and this
did they
everything.
provide like top finishers or a list of where everyone placed or any sort of information about that?
I wrote down the top four, and that's who they recognized in the top four teams. And then after that, you kind of just had to walk up and screenshot or take a picture on their um on their board up there. But the students that were designated as captains for your school have access to that board, to the CTF stats and everything. So I had the student that was captain of my team to just take screenshots and send it to me. So I knew what place they got, what their ranking was, how many points each one of the team members got as well. So
Who were
yeah, I
the top
believe,
14?
Do they still have access to that? Do you know?
I don't know. He sent me that on Sunday. So I don't know. But yeah, Duke was first, ECU second, Campbell third, and UNC Charlotte was fourth.
Mm.
I know our students were 12th when they left at 5:30. So we were
Yeah,
proud of them competing against the
um,
4-year schools.
right?
We thought that
Yeah,
was great.
I know. I was letting Tony know. I was like, yeah, we were ahead of so and so and so and so. Some of the 4-year schools. Um, let me see if I took a picture. Mm-mm. No, I didn't take one more. I didn't take the screenshot or a picture of the rankings. Uh, so yeah, it was good. I would do it again. So does anybody else have any ways that you're incorporating AI with cybersecurity specifically, because that's going to be the next big push that we need to start figuring out.
Can you repeat what you just asked?
So using AI in any of the cybersecurity tools, or the programs that we're using. Because right now I don't see AI being used in much of the, courses we get from our vendors, except for CompTIA was one. They have a new add-on with AI with their Sec Plus. Because one of my instructors, Dave Clement, was telling me about it. Has anybody seen that or investigated that?
I do know one of the things that I struggle with is um with all of these new AI resources coming out, as cybersecurity experts, are we supposed to use the agents that are out there, or are we supposed to use the resources that are out there, or are we supposed to take time out of our already busy curriculum and have the students create their own large language models? Do we create our own custom ones, or do we use what we already have and help the students get expertise, or at least get some type of understanding of AI? That's what I struggle with, and nobody's really given me a concrete answer. I've gotten concrete answers from like our advisory board and other not manufacturers, excuse me, other industry persons, but not really on the curriculum side. It's almost like it's a hidden secret of exactly what everybody's doing. Does anybody else have any insight on what they're doing with AI and whether they're creating their own custom things or they're using what they have in order to enhance their classrooms?
I didn't get official buy-in, but I actually got two machines or whatever where I could locally run, run the models and things like that. And I have more autonomy with my Sendo students as opposed to curriculum students because they're typically non-credit. And so that's my way of being able to expose them. And I have like experts from the field come in and show them how to train them and mentor them to be able to do it on the back end. So that's what I've been doing in the interim, so that when they do jump up and get ready to do it, I'll just move that information over there, and we've already have experience in
So
that
are they,
space. But our ITS team is crazy restrictive. I'm sorry.
oh no, you're fine.
So how are you teaching your curriculum students AI? I get Sentinel students and they have you again, you have more autonomy. I totally understand that. But how are you translating that to curriculum as of right now?
So inside of my capstone projects and things like that as well too. In that one, I leverage a little bit more of the autonomy of whatever to break down how to work with that, work in that space. I exclude DeepSeek because that one has been banned by some of the state level organizations. So I advise them against utilizing that personally. But then in that space, I meet with them one off and things like this as well too, if they need additional help and guidance with that, and then providing different resources for them to be able to leverage and be able to augment, whether they do it locally or if they're utilizing a combination of Claude and their own local models as well.
So it sounds like your program, and this is nothing, this is no disrespect to what you're doing, but it sounds like you're waiting to the capstone, the last 6 months, the last 3 to 6 months of their education to get them involved in AI. And you only do that in their capstone course. Sometimes you use local LLMs, or you may use
Yeah,
something that's already out the box. Is that correct?
that's correct for the courses that I teach and I have the power over. So I teach the
Okay.
capstone, I teach Sec 160 A lot
Yep.
to teachers 110. Now we're going away and doing some things for SEC 110, but
Right.
we had the whole search because we just got our redesignation.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
totally understand. Yep.
appreciate you for starting me on that too. So we couldn't do certain official changes and things like that as well.
Right.
So a lot of these things I've been handling more like a side quest option,
Uh-huh.
and things like that for the students to augment the training in the interim as a way to be able to introduce these things like that as well, and on the wait for the official go ahead where it can be baked into the curricula, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think I'm still missing a part, but we can have more of that conversation offline. Yeah.
I
Thank
recommend my
you.
students to use it to create study guides for
Mm.
whatever topic we're covering. They're going to do their own research. They're going to pull in their own resources, and they're creating their own flashcards and study guides, for whichever particular one. And I've actually had some of them share them with each other, some of their resources, so that they're creating things that help them, because they all learn a little bit differently. So they're needing different resources to pick up on things.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Sandelio.
Yep, thanks.
All right. So it sounds like we're starting to use it as an assistant to the classes. Some of those activities for us as instructors, but we're still kind of waiting on how to really use it for projects, or we're just starting to dabble in that. So that's a great place to be, because now we get to kind of develop, what that best practice would look like for us too. So as you guys are learning new ways, or doing workshops, or attending conferences, and you learn something new, I encourage you guys to share that with me until I get the website up. To be able to enter things there. Send me, those activities. Send me, this is what we're doing, and send me the steps so we can easily share that with everybody else, so we can help everybody at least get used to start using it, comfortable using it as an instructor and in the classroom. Okay, so we are closing in on the end of our meeting time. I do want to point out that in the chat, I did put the survey. This is a very, very important survey. This is the time where you guys are going to give us any feedback on those 10 core courses, feedback on the work roles that you've identified, or if you haven't done that work yet, do that work and then fill out the survey. We really want to make sure that we can start developing the pieces that we need, for the fall, so we know, how to best be how to be the most efficient. Nobody wants to do everything on their own, and we shouldn't have to, because we're all in this together. So, anyway, the survey is there, but before we go, any last thoughts? Anything anybody else wants to share? All right. Well, pending Cynthia's approval, we will no, we will see you back in August, right? Is that right, Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
We'll see you guys back in August. But in the meantime, feel free to reach out with any questions you have for the Curriculum Alignment Committee. Any of us are happy to answer for you. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.
See y'all later.